Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kalpesh Patel, and I'm super excited to bring you another episode of Nuts and Bolts Leadership and Skills Training. So we serve the entrepreneurial market worldwide with these trainings. My goal is really simple. It is to share my experiences, my learnings, my findings, if you like. 28 years full-time in direct selling space and a lifetime full-time of being an entrepreneur. Many of you know I've never had a job, never worked for anyone else in my whole life. And it's a unique situation we're in. I've seen the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, peaks, the valleys, all of the different experiences that come with all of that. And somehow always managed to land on my feet, even though sometimes it felt like I landed on my head. But eventually everything comes right? You go through all the different cycles of life. So network marketing in particular is an industry that I have fallen in love with for the last 3 decades almost. And I'm so grateful and forever grateful to the lady that introduced me to it all those years ago, because if it wasn't for her persistent and consistent nature inviting me, I never would have showed up. And so, literally it was a good couple of months of me promising to go with her. Back then, there was no Zooms, no online meetings. It was all physical meetings. So, the meeting was a couple of hours drive away in the area called Milton Keynes. I was in London, and she was just always inviting me. The events would only take place on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, and every week I'd make up stories. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'll join you. I'll see you. I'll come." And I was doing this because I was, kind of just saying what she wanted to hear, but no real commitment or intention to following through on what I was saying to her. Anyway, one of the fine Sundays, she shows up on my door and rings the doorbell and says, "Come on, we're going to Milton Keynes." And I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" It was quite a scenario. I was pretending not to be home for a little while. And then I opened the door and said, "Look, you better go yourself. I'm not dressed. I don't want to make you late." And she's like, "No, I'm going to be late if you're not coming. So you better get dressed, hurry up. And then we won't be late." So long story short, 2 hours later in the car of me being a right miserable so-and-so, I walk into this room full of a ton of people that are smiling and excited and high-fiving and enjoying and loving their life. And I was like, at that point in time, I was at a low point in my life, and something happened inside me. And I was like, who are these guys? What are they up to? Why are they so excited? And a part of me immediately recognized myself in them, because I was once that guy. I was the light and soul of every conversation. And 3 years prior to this moment of being in this room, I wasn't. I'd switched off all the lights, and the original Kalpesh Patel had gone home somewhere, disappeared into oblivion, into the darkness. So part of me was in that room, connecting with all of these people at a much deeper level and remembering how I used to be. Anyway, it didn't take long. It was a 4-hour seminar. I think about an hour in, however resistant I might have been to start with, about an hour into the seminar, I was opening up left, right, and center. I was unlocking all of the locked stuff inside and reigniting possibility, reigniting smiling again, being happy again, reigniting, bringing my old self back. So my love of network marketing is because it was more than just business for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about this side of the conversation. Business, for me, business was familiar anyway, whether it was network marketing or any other business. I was used to business. That was not a new conversation for me. It was not unfamiliar for me. Knowing that, you could leverage time, leverage people, leverage money, all of those things for me were normal. So the business side of the conversation was something I could understand and relate to, just as a matter of fact, because that's who I was anyway. What I didn't know prior to network marketing, though, what I didn't know about was the industry that allows people to start with nothing and build empires. So my version of business was that you needed thousands of pounds to get started in something. You had to take huge risks, and 9 out of 10 times you failed and you lost everything, because that's what the odds were. Tens of thousands at a minimum, hundreds of thousands if you wanted to have a decent crack at a whip. And when I was working with those kind of odds in my earlier years, that's what I was used to. When I saw network marketing, I was used to buying and selling shops. So, retail outlets. So it was a whole different dynamic. I'm sitting in the seminar, I'm going, how can somebody get started for a tiny amount of money and build unlimited income without staff, without stock, without bills, without overheads? I'm sitting there like blown away. Just that simple. If you can just understand that, then you've really got a deeper understanding of why network marketing as a vehicle wins hands down against any other business. Full stop. And I will argue anyone, anywhere in the world on that point. Show me one other place on the planet where the average person can get into a community of people that want that person to win, surround themselves with positivity, with possibility, with coaches and mentors, supporters for free or next to free, a couple of £100, few £100, couple of £1,000 tops. Where else can you get that? You can't. So fall in love with the essence of what you get. People oftentimes miss this. They're so focused on the greed. They're so focused on just the output that they take for granted everything else they're getting. And network marketing is the only place on the planet that gives you everything everybody's searching for and can't find. Supportive community. I mean, you can find it, but I know people that pay, tens of thousands of pounds to mentors and coaches and groups, to belong to groups, partnerships and whatever you want to call it. People pay fortunes to get around the right kind of people. And network marketing gives you it for free. And I'll keep on saying for free because, when you're talking about a couple of $1,000s, it is free in the grand scheme of life. It's not even money. It just isn't. Now, you might have an opinion about it because of your relationship to money, but facts of life, $2,000, you could drop it on anybody's hand and it will do nothing for them outside of network marketing. Zero. Nothing. You can give it to the brokest person on the planet and they will feel good for a couple of months. Finished. That's all it does. You'll buy them a couple of months, max, of food or groceries or whatever tiny little thing will get them. But in network marketing, it gives you access to abundance, access to infinity. So when you guys are sitting in front of people, are you making that point clear for people? Or are you so busy just pitching the numbers that they miss it because you're focused on all the stuff that's immaterial unless you can get them emotionally engaged? I have found that when somebody's emotionally engaged, like they find a reason to do what you're doing, you give them a reason to listen to what you're saying. Give them a personal hook as to how whatever it is you're trying to share with them is going to make a difference in their life. Everyone knows money's going to help, but it's not enough. If money was enough, the whole world would be an MLM. Or if money was enough, the whole world would ask for promotions. If money was enough, the whole world would start businesses. Money's not enough. It's not enough to get people engaged. I've got broke friends that talk about how lovely life is being broke because we would rather justify not having money than break ourselves up to find out how to get some. Keep your ears open. Keep your eyes open. Look out for it. Listen out for it. And see if you can make a difference to them. See, here's what I've learned. A poor mindset, a poverty mindset, thinks small, doesn't think positivity, doesn't think possibility, doesn't think abundance. It doesn't think outside of a comfort zone. A poor mindset, by the sheer definition of poor, and I love this one, the acronym. Poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly. Poor people, nothing to do with money. Poverty is nothing to do with money. That's a separate conversation. I'm talking about a poor mindset. Poor people pass over opportunities repeatedly. They can't see them. They don't see opportunity. They're the ones that will find the hair in the soup, even when there isn't any. They'll find a problem when no one else can see the problem. There are those people out there. They'll find a problem when there isn't one. If they can't find one, they'll make one up. People make stuff up. The nonsense they come out with when they have a poor mindset. It's incredible. Here's what a poor mindset thinks. The only purpose of money is to pay the bills. Poor people make money to pay bills. Just understand that. Poor people make money to pay bills. That's their purpose. Middle-class people make money to spend frivolously. Middle-class people make money so they can have a bigger house and a faster car and drink champagne instead of beer and go on 2 or 3 holidays a year instead of 1. But they're just chasing the spending. They're still broke. They're not poor, but they're broke. Because the mindset is one of lack. One of wanting to fit in, keeping up with the Joneses, looking good. Middle-class people spend $2,000 on handbags and $1,000 on shoes. You'll see them around, right? And then they have to tell you how much their handbag and shoes were, or their watch was, or their suit was. They have to tell you how much it cost. They have to talk to you about how much they spent in the restaurant last night. Wealthy people understand something different. What do wealthy people know that the poor and the middle class have no clue about? Wealthy people know that the name of the game is not paying bills and it's not spending everything you make. And I've been a victim of spending everything I make too many times in my life, trust me. So I know this firsthand. I got stuck in middle class for too long, man. Wealthy people understand this. The name of the game is freedom. Freedom. That's what they're chasing. And all freedom starts with financial freedom. Without financial freedom, there is no freedom. Then it's just partial freedom. We've built a world that the fuel, if you like, the petrol, the gas, is money. When the tank is empty, you're not going too far. You can be happy, you can be joyful, you can be grateful, you can be all of those things, but you can't be on holiday 12 months of the year. You can't do what you want to do. You're very limited when you're on empty. Just like you can have a Ferrari, but if the tank's empty, it's sitting on the drive. Looks nice. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not going anywhere. So we have to build a stronger relationship to money. What is the purpose of money for you? Why is money such an important part of the conversation? Not because of, it's not for the digits. It's not for the numerical value of money. It's for the freedom value of money, financial freedom. Financial freedom equals choices. Doing what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, without having to think about it. See, until you have that relationship to it, then all you ever do is pay bills and buy shit to impress other people that you can't afford to buy. The only person you want to impress is your future self. Write that down, Kalpesh Patel. The only person you want to impress is your future self. And I'm telling you this from first-hand experience. I've impressed too many people in my life to know that it wasn't worth it. I was having the same conversation yesterday with my dear friend Pinnicky, who's on this Zoom. Gave away my entire wealth throughout my life, made millions in my lifetime. And I was out saving the world, impressing them. I'll pay off your mortgage. I'll pay off this. I'll help you out here. I'll help you from getting evicted. I'll pay your rent. I'll pay your credit card bill. I'll pay for your spot in the business. Gosh, that's enough. Thousands of people in my lifetime where I've paid them into the business, thinking that because they haven't got the money to join, if I pay for them to join, that'll open the door for them. Then they'll make it. And they go AWOL anyway. They go AWOL anyway. So knowing how to use it as a tool. I knew all the phrases, right? I knew all the phrases. But, you know, don't give people fish, teach them how to fish. But guess what I was doing? I was the best fisherman in the world, so I just kept chucking fish at everyone, feeding them all, because I could catch enough fish for everyone, right? But guess what happens? You catch enough fish for everyone, you give them all out to everyone, but the day you don't catch any fish, you go hungry yourself. And you're thinking, what happened here? And you look around and nobody else knows how to fish. We've all been there, right? All the people you helped, missing when you need help. Who's ever experienced that? Anyone? We all relate to that one, right? You help them all along the way. You need a bit of help, everyone turns the other way. They're doing their shoelaces. So just understand that it's about you. It's about setting yourself free. And that doesn't take much. I often use this as an analogy, right? If you wanted to make, let's start with a reasonable number that in network marketing, if you really got committed and focused and learned the skills and started applying yourself, then you could comfortably do this, right? Let's say that you did network marketing part-time, 10 hours a week, but you were consistent with that 10 hours a week, right? You got full-time job, full-time family, but you found an hour and a half a day every single day, no matter what. If you did that, if you found an hour and a half a day consistently every single day, 90 minutes a day, and in that 90 minutes, you focus on income producing activities, I could pretty much, I won't say guarantee because there's no such thing, but pretty much make a promise that if you did that, 12 months from now, you could comfortably be on 20 grand a year. A couple of thousand a month. All right. Now let's have a look at this. What are the other options to make a couple of thousand a month? Who knows people that work in full-time jobs to make a couple of thousand a month? Right, that's one option. 40, 50 hours a week, you can earn a couple of thousand a month. All right. Now, I've just said an hour and a half a day. Who understands that concept? Would you rather do 8 hours, 9 hours a day, or an hour and a half a day and have the same output? Who gets the common sense logic here? Why network marketing is so damn powerful? Who gets it? Show me your hands. If your video is not on, shame on you. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. I call that a no-brainer decision. Hence why I say everyone should be in network marketing. If you've got a job and you're willing to do 40 hours a week for someone else so that you can pay your bills, poor mindset. And you should have a job, by the way, if you don't have another source of income. Everybody should. Taking care of the bills is absolutely imperative, because if you don't, you drown. So keeping afloat is important. but don't make your job permanent. Make it a temporary part of your journey. Remind yourself daily. Be grateful for the job because it pays the bills. Be grateful that you're not stuck in the job and you're working on something else outside of that for an hour and a half a day at least, because you've got a dream and you keep that dream alive. All right. But anyone and everyone, I don't care how busy you are, you can find an hour and a half a day. So commit to it. No questions, no ifs, no buts. We're talking about financial freedom here. What else could you do to make a couple of thousand a month? Well, you could have, how much would you need to have invested in the bank? Let's say the bank was giving you 5% a year, which they don't, by the way, but let's just dream for a while and imagine the banks were giving 5% a year. Well, if banks were giving 5% a year, to make 25,000 a year, you'd need $500,000 cash sitting in the bank. 500,000 cash sitting in a bank at 5% a year would make you 25,000 a year. Can you see? So if you build a business in network marketing that earns you 25,000 a year, you've built the equivalent of $500,000 of savings. Now, do you get it? Who gets what I'm talking about here? It's the ultimate leverage of numbers. People in property, they do somersaults if they make 5% a year. Literally somersaults. They tell the whole world about this property they've got that makes them 5% a year. So that's another option, right? But guess what? If you've owned property, you know what goes on there, don't you? First of all, the things that they don't tell you. You're making 5% a year, but of course, the boiler breaks down like every couple of years for some reason when somebody else is living in the house, right? You live in a house, the boiler never breaks down. Somebody else lives in the same house, every couple of years, there's a problem with the boiler or a problem with something, right? There's always something breaking down, always something going wrong. So whatever you're making, a ton of that goes straight back into just maintaining the property, let alone the headache that gives you. If you end up with an awkward tenant, goodness, they can make your life a nightmare. I remember the first house I bought, I was like 20, I think I was 22, something like that, 21 or 22. And I bought a house. I thought, yep, let me get onto this property ladder. It was all the rage back in those back in the 80s. And I remember growing up thinking that's what you have to do. So I think it was like early 90s, I grabbed myself a property. And around 3-4 months in, I got a call middle of the night from the police. Can you come to your property? And I drove down to the house, blue lights everywhere, late at night. And I found out that my house was occupied by Irish pimps using my house as a brothel. Can you imagine? I was like, wow, what do you do with this? And anyway, something got out of hand. They ripped the house to pieces, pulled the piping off the wall, kicked the doors down, holes in the walls. I'd only had the house 3-4 months. I was like, what the hell is this? Who needs that? So whatever ideas I had of positive cash flow or income generating asset wasn't actually the case. I had to now go and find builders and plumbers and repair people and spend tons of money, all of that nonsense. I was like, what is this? Right? Network marketing. Get yourself in. The rest is all up to you. Put the hours in. Put the activities in. Attend the events. Master the language. Master the dynamics. Plug in. And then teach others. Learn and teach. That's all it is. Network marketing is just that. Learn, apply, teach. Produce the results. Now you're demonstrating to people what's possible. That's why you have to produce results. Force yourself to produce results. People don't relate to producing results as something that's in their control. I come from a different mindset altogether. As an entrepreneur from the age of 11, every single day was just about results for me. And I think that's stuff I take for granted. At 11 years old, my goal every day was to make more money than I did the day before. If I could just sell one more Mars bar, or just sell one more packet of crisps, one more sandwich, if I can just make an extra 5 pence, an extra 10 pence. Pennies didn't matter. The amount didn't matter. Can you understand? I was working on pennies at 11 years old. Pennies was a lot of money. If I was making, 50p a day, a pound a day, I was richer than every other 11-year-old in the school. There was no other kid making anything. So the philosophy stays with me. Make a little bit more every day than you did the day before. Have that be the goal. Set your bars. Some of you think that just by joining network marketing, you're going to be successful. It's not how it works. That's how jobs work. Maybe that's where the mindset tricks us. If I just show up, I'll get paid. No, network marketing doesn't pay you for showing up. Showing up, you do that for free. That's just part of the cogs of the wheel. Network marketing pays you for producing results. That's the measure. Showing up is not the measure. Showing up is a requirement. It's a basic, it's a given. If you want freedom, show up. But freedom comes out of the results that you produce. Speak to more people today than you did yesterday. Sign up more people today than you did yesterday. Now, some of you are going to freak out and get scared if I say every day, right? That's why I don't push you to that level. But at least every week. At worst, measure your results once a month. If you sign up one person this month, see if you can push yourself to sign up 2 people next month. Not everyone's designed to play the game daily. I get it. But if you're not playing the game at least monthly, you're not going to go anywhere. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be in. I always say you can never lose by being in network marketing. Everybody should be in. Why? Because this Zoom alone is worth gazillion times whatever you paid to get into the industry. So everybody should be in. Like I said, finance is not the only measure. To be part of a community, to be connected to a bunch of people that actually care, that give a shit and want you to win, not easy to find. You find that here. Everybody's welcome. If you're here because you need to hear good stuff and feel good and it makes your life better, congratulations, more than happy to serve. But that's not all that's available. That's the point I like to make. That's just the freebie. That's your tip of the iceberg. Join and benefit from great people, great conversations, great wisdom, great learning, and make yourself feel better. Bang, you've already won. Your job will improve. How you feel about your job, how you relate to your job will improve by default if you hang around this kind of environment. Your social life will improve by default because we teach gratitude. We teach appreciation. We teach acknowledgement. We teach recognition. Do you see? When you start applying all of these things into your life, guess what? Your life gets better by default. Everything you learn here improves the quality of your life by default anyway. So your life is a gazillion times better for being in network marketing than it ever could be without it. That's why I always say everyone wins when they get in. But then what? It's not just about that. You get that for free. That's included. That's included in the purchase. The then what is moving from poor mindset, past middle class mindset and into wealthy mindset. Building your future pot. Setting yourself up. So that you've got the reason for earning money is to have your money earn money for you. So in the beginning, you earn money and eventually your money earns you money. That's what wealthy people work out that the poor and the middle class miss. Poor people spend their money on bills. Middle class spend it on good stuff that lasts for a little while, but leaves them poor anyway, or leaves them broke anyway. And wealthy people don't spend anything on anything. They reinvest, they plant seeds, they water, they nurture, they grow. Warren Buffett lives in the same house, drives the same car for decades. He can have anything he wants on the planet. He's not interested in anything. When you understand that you can create stuff, you can create whatever you want, the things don't matter. They become incidental. You with me? You wake up not because you want more money. You wake up because you want to make a bigger impact. You want to make a bigger difference. You want to progress and create progress. You want to be an example. You want to inspire. You want to demonstrate. It's not about talking a good talk. Everyone can talk a good talk. The results will speak for themselves. Results are a true measure of your growth, right? There's the illusion of growth. The illusion of growth means that you've received information and it makes you feel good, but nobody else knows that you feel good, right? Or they know you feel good, but they don't see why. Like there's no demonstration of what you've learned in your outside world. You end up annoying people because you keep telling them how good you feel, but they can't grasp or catch. You know, you're not giving, you're not contributing, you're not helping, you're not sharing, you're not passing back. It's like a secret conversation you have with yourself. The beauty of network marketing is that we teach you to share it, to give it away, to pass it on, pay it forward. If you haven't seen the movie, watch it, pay it forward. It's a network marketing movie, beautiful. So that's what we do, right? And when we pay it forward, when we give it away, when we share, when we contribute, when we make a difference, and when we do it freely and powerfully, because we've got our language right, we've got our skills right, we've done the learning, we invested in ourselves to be better, to sharpen the saw, to become the best networkers that we can be, guess what? You now become attractive to the people you're speaking to. They'll be like, there's something about you. I didn't quite understand what you shared, didn't quite understand what you showed. I didn't get it all, but I just want to be around you and I want to do whatever you're doing. So I can, you know, I can catch some of that. I want to rub shoulders with you. If you're doing it, I want to do it. Become that person. Nobody needs to understand anything to say yes. Nobody needs to understand what you've shown them. They need to feel it. They need to feel your energy, your passion, your commitment. They need to know that you mean it when you're talking to them. You mean what you're saying. And then they'll trust that the process that you're going through, that you're sharing with them, is available to them. That growth is available. Possibility is available. Upside is available. And then you lock arms and you go on a journey together. And you do everything you can to remind them to be here and not miss these crucial trainings, not miss presentations, not miss updates. Stay plugged in. So one of the biggest things I'm a big fan of is holding yourself accountable. Decide on a number, whatever number that is for you, of how many people you're going to speak to about your business every single day. How many new people will you speak to about your business? Note the magic word that is new. How many new people are you going to speak to every single day about your business? And back in the days when I got trained on all this stuff, and some of you have heard this, right? I was taught, put 3 coins in one pocket when you leave the day in the morning. And the goal of that day is to have all 3 coins move from one pocket into the other. That's a measure. It's measurable. You're not deluded. Oh yeah, I spoke to loads of people. How many? Oh, loads. I spoke to everyone. It's too loose. You didn't speak to anyone. You just splattered everything all over the place. Nothing. You didn't make a difference. You didn't do anything. No, how many people did you actually speak to with intention, with clarity, with power? How many invitations did you give out? How many solid invitations did you create? So if you invite 3 people a day, every day, so that was the goal. Every time you did a solid invite, were they committed to being at the presentation and meeting you at the venue today, meeting you on Zoom, every time you got a yes, I'll definitely be there, I can't wait, I'm excited, you got that solid response. You moved a coin from one pocket to the other. So you had 3 of those every day. That's an average of 20 people a week. 20 people a week. It's 80 people a month. It's 1,000 people a year. Do you know what would happen if you spoke to 1,000 people in a year to your business? If you spoke to 1,000 people with intention, with power, with passion, with purpose, with excitement, with enthusiasm, if you had 1,000 fast, fiery conversations in a year, your business would take care of itself. Can you see that? But guess what? I know for a fact that 90% plus of the people on this Zoom are not going to do that. And that's fine. That's how the numbers work. It's the nature of numbers. Now, here's the thing. I don't know which 90% are not going to do it. Only you know that. There's about 10% of the people in this room that will do that. Well, they won't do that. That will give it a go. There's about 10% that will give it a go. Probably about 5% will actually get the job done. In real terms, maybe less than 5%. But guess what? They're your top 5%. If you've ever wondered who those top 5% are versus the other 95%, it's those guys that are able to overcome whatever they need to overcome, limitations, fears, thinking small, thinking about themselves, thinking about what other people are going to think about them, all of that nonsense, fearing the outcome. What if they say no? What if this happens? What if that happens? All of that noise. Those guys are never going to make it. You'll always say in the 95%, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. At least you're in, right? Like I said, you can never lose if you're in, but you'll never win either. If you want to win, you got to step it up. And the numbers don't lie. So how many people are you speaking to on a daily basis? How many invites are you putting out on a daily basis? And then measure the next number. How many of those invites show up? So anyway, look, I've gone a bit over. I've gone a lot over. We've got a Zoom starting in 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is quickly give a couple of minutes to you guys, then we'll pause and we'll come back on the hour for our opportunity meeting. So if you want to raise hands, if you want to share something, go ahead and do that. I'm going to start off with Maggie. How are we doing, Maggie? Hey.
Hi, Kalpesh. Thank you so very much for today. And I get it, Kalpesh. Being in an environment like that, it can be so refreshing. It can be really good, but you need a massive paradigm shift to hold on to that feeling, because we're in this Zoom and we're getting poured into by you. So that makes us strong. But what happens when the lights are out? What happens when we go home and we're alone in the sanctuary of our homes? This is where we have to develop that strength and think other thoughts, the thoughts that want to pull us away from the negative feelings. Oh, well, it can't be done. Even though Kalpesh has done it already, who said you're the kind of person who can do it? We have to learn to think different thoughts so we can get on that journey of success. It's going to be hard, but we have to build the strength, the tenacity, the determination for us to succeed. So thank you so much. And that's my contribution today.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Maggie. And welcome to the team. Danielle, how you doing?
I'm great, Kalpesh. I haven't been on a nuts and bolts for a year, and I am so grateful to be back. You have no idea. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You changed my life. You know that. And I'm going to continue growing. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wonderful to have you, and welcome to the team as well. John, how you doing? JB, good to see you.
Fantastic. Finally got on camera for putting my hand up, which I haven't been doing. Yeah, I just want to say that 3 years ago in March, you helped me with my journey. I did what I said. I went traveling in my van. Now I've got a family, got a 12-week-old daughter, and now I'm out in Bulgaria, just starting my world travels. I've created financial freedom. I don't want things. I want experiences. I want a life, and I'm doing what I said from when I was stood in my kitchen, getting ready to go. And I thank you for that, because it's been a hard journey, but I've cracked on. I'm doing it, and I'm loving life. One love. Thank you so much.
So proud of you, brother. So super proud. Well done. Love it. Tom, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, man. That was a phenomenal training. It's funny you talk about the 3 pennies. I was taught 10 pennies in one jar on your desk and an empty jar on the other end. And you took it to another level. It was like getting that person actively engaged. My system was just sending out 10 invites a day, you know, and as you say, it's just a numbers game. You know, you never know if you end up the day and you look at your jars and your pennies have moved. Well, you haven't made any progress. You haven't done any income producing activities. And, you know, I'm big on that phrase as well. But I think if you know, one thing I heard is if you don't track your performance, you'll never know if you're winning. And even if it's just 10 pennies moving from one jar, 3 pennies moving from one pocket to the other, that's tracking your performance every day. And it's creating a habit. And I think what you said is so amazingly true that, you know, poverty is a mindset. Poverty is it's a mindset. It's a way of thinking. And it's like looking at the glass as half empty versus the glass is half full versus the glass is overflowing. You know, I always add that extra element to it, that the glass is overflowing. But, you know, if you're broke, and I've been broke before many times, you know, it's a temporary state. And the only thing that gets you out of that state is income producing activities. And I'll leave you with a quote that's one of my favorite. It says, some people look at things and ask why. I dream of things that never were. And I say, why not? And I think we just have to have that mentality. But I know in the last few years, I've enrolled 3,000 people personally. I've upgraded 900 of them. That would generated about $198,000 in income and personal income to me, not including pay plan stuff. And at a $5,000 investment, that made me 40x on my money. You know, no stock market, no rental property, nothing will produce an ROI like that. And I'm not talking return on investment. I'm talking return on initiative. You know, that's what y'all ought to be focused on is what initiative are you taking every day? And, you know, here's a tip: 1 post a day and 10 private messages a day will change your life. Thanks for that awesome training.
Beautiful. Thank you. Perfect way to round up. So guys and girls, another fantastic nuts and bolts. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And